supporters, the people who call themselves obedient, that they are very rude, callous, mean, they abuse people, they make enemies for you, including even persons who are your friends.
Ruben,
they go on Twitter particularly, and they are perpetually demarketing you by abusing people.
Let's watch the video. Just a minute. Let's watch it.
Ruben, I've answered this several times.
No, well, over the weekend. I think Farouk Perogu wrote a piece on it.
I agree, Ruben, I've answered this several times. One, there's infiltration among my people by opponents. There are all those who believe in me who are angry. You know, when people are angry, they do other things. What I say to people is, can you focus? Ruben, I went to a man's house and I was a governor outside his door for 4 hours. If you ask Senator Ayogweze, they will tell you the story I'm telling you.
Yes, I know Senator Ayogweze.
Ayogweze said to me, Peter, are you governor? I said yes. Until that man comes out and I know he's aware I'm here, I will not take it on the man of what his people are doing to me. And when he came out, he was apologetic. I'm Peter Obi, who is campaigning, who wants to be president. But they are trying to say that the behaviors of my people is exactly what you, Peter Obi, is going to do. Ruben, you know me. I've been in government. I've served people faithfully in the most humble manner. Ruben, I've never raised my voice on anybody. So you cannot go and say, oh, Peter, because even your son or your daughter shouts at people, that is you, Peter. Yes, I'm telling them, please, but some of them are angry. Some of them are people who are out of school for the past 10 years without job. Some of them are this. You cannot control their anger. All I can do is to appeal. But to say to you, because of what these people are doing, yeah, well, let's follow these people who have not provided light for the past 20 years, who have been stealing our money for the past 20 years, who have brought us where we are today. The alternative is no.
Now, I think that was a good response from Peter Obi to Dr. Ruben. And I get to observe that also as well right here on the platform, where sometimes if I make some comments that maybe are favorable to Tinubu or maybe favorable to Atiku or maybe even to Peter Obi, I get to see a lot of fights in the comments, which most times I'll be more of like, people will just be people. I can't stop you from saying whatever you want to say, but in the end, it is more interesting when people are making constructive criticisms based on facts instead of going into the whole idea of, oh, you will do this, you will do that, and then, you know, even bringing the God factor as well, God punish you and all that. Because in the end, no matter how much you sit down and fight and argue in the comments, or would I say go out and then start trolling on people, these politicians tomorrow, they will still sit down together, dine and wine, while you that was fighting all over the internet for them will be more of like, maybe you feel heartbroken. Recently, like I posted here on Facebook, Reno Omokri calling out the person of Peter Obi more of like as an hypocrite and even quoting scriptures with the idea that him donating to those in Benue or him going to visit those in Benue and the way he was dressed and all that was more of like him campaigning, and he was just pointing arrows to his dress and a couple of things, even talking about the money he gave, forgetting that the same he himself announced his donation to the war massacre victims, of which he also came under attack as a then, because people were more of like, come on, what you are giving is our money, and he had to also come and defend himself and all that. What point am I trying to make right here? At this point, whatever the candidates themselves do is always on the radar, because everything is going to be seen on the eye of it being more of like a campaign strategy. Recently, of course, Tinubu himself has been getting all your hits, or would I say all of the social media hit of the idea that he is not healthy. And this is what he had to say.
Some ignorant people have been standing before you. I'm not running for 100 yards or 500 yards or do. I'm running for presidency. I'm not competing for WWE wrestling. Even if I go out there, they say, sick, I am standing before you. Do I look like a sick man? Nigeria. You vote me out of their reach. Vote for me 100%. No, they will stop complaining.
And that was when he visited Kano there, and at the same point he gave Kano 100 million, more of like a relief for the flood victims. The idea right now is that, was Tinubu himself trying to show that he's got money? I'm just saying though, for him to double up what Atiku gave by giving 100 million when Atiku gave 50 million as at August to the flood victims. I don't know. But for him to use that particular point in time to also more of like, you know, campaign, even though people are going to look at it that way, this is what Ruben himself had to say.
It's good to see politicians showing interest and empathy. But the flood situation in Nigeria is not something we play politics with. It's not about politics. We should not politicize other people's mystery. That's the point that needs to be made. These are persons who are looking for votes and who will use any kind of strategy to get involved in the matter. But it should not be about politics. What is important is the human touch, is the empathy, is the identification with the people. And I hope that once we get that straight, then of course, you know, we'll all be approaching the problem not from the position of manipulating the people, but identifying with the people. And I hope that beyond politicians, that other humanitarians will step in and also provide support. I raised the point earlier on that in 2012, the Jonathan administration set up a committee on flood relief and rehabilitation of victims, led by Alhaji Aliko Dangote and Mr. Olisa Agbakoba, SAN. What happened to that committee? Was it disbanded? Because it was supposed to be a standing committee. Out of the realization that flood had become a perennial problem in Nigeria. And those who are in charge of that agency or of that particular ad hoc committee, you know, a standing committee, they owe us an explanation. Because next year again, if care is not taken, there will be floods. Right now, the Abule Egba that you refer to, where there is an issue and all that, the Ogun Osun River Basin Authority had said, look, there will be floods because they too are going to release water very soon. So we have not seen the end of the matter. A combination of factors, I keep insisting, because the single story is always unintelligent. It's always about a combination of issues. Whatever this combination is, must be addressed. Finally, I said before now that, look, this 2023 election is beginning to look like a wrestling match. If it comes to putting these aspirants inside the ring for them to wrestle, maybe we will make a way forward there. If you don't have the muscle for it, don't go near the presidency of Nigeria, because a lot of hard work is required. No, it's beginning to look like a wrestling competition. In fact, if it comes to arranging a boxing competition, maybe we should do it. If you can't take a punch, who is that boxer that has that deadly right hand?
Mike Tyson.
Is it Mike Tyson?
Yes.
There's another one now.
His punch was like a bag of
There's
cement.
another one. They give you a punch you further, we know you are out of it. Because Nigerians want a boxer, they want a wrestler. They want somebody who can provide the energy that we need. That's what I think. You may think it's a joke, but I think we really need somebody who is...
We need Mike Tyson, Rufai. What do you make of that?
No, but Dr. Abati, it's not a joke. The country is on its knees. And you see, we don't appreciate data enough. And it's because we still get by every day. The country is on its knees. So you need a president that is mentally fit and physically fit. And the true test of this is medical records. They should release their medical records. If possible, as time goes on, we should codify it in our constitution that political parties and presidential candidates should release their medical records. It's not about saying, oh, I'm okay, I'm fine. No. Health is such a big deal.
And what Ruben actually said made sense to me, I would say, because right now we are talking about people that have died. The situation that is happening right now in the country is even affected as far back as Anambra State as well, of which Peter Obi also got to give some relief materials of, even though he was called out by one of Buhari's aides for giving how many loaves of bread and how many bags of rice and all that. You see, one thing I would say for myself as a person is that Peter Obi, like many people are going to say, is giving his own money, like many would say. But Atiku and Tinubu, are they really giving out their money, or is it still the money of Nigeria? I don't know. Tell me what you think in the comments. Because if people are now going to start comparing, Peter Obi gave 5 million to those in Benue. Listen, Benue. Benue is a state of Governor Samuel Otom, who was in APC but defected to PDP 4 years ago. And this same Samuel Otom was the person that said this about Peter Obi.
For our country, I look forward that these three candidates of the various political parties will meet and say, look, let this man go. I'm in PDP, and I'm working for PDP, but I tell you, if I were not in PDP, you will see me working for Peter Obi.
Now think about that for a moment. Even though he has a good reception for Peter Obi, because Peter Obi met him earlier on when he got the Labour Party ticket, but also waiting recently where he got to make this statement. You get to see that right now with what is going on in the political dynamics, people are going to say that, oh, Peter Obi gave money to the flood victims in Benue as more of like a campaign strategy because, of course, Benue there, the governor there happens to be more of like his friend or someone that supports him, if he could make that kind of statement. But of course, not everyone in PDP, based on what is happening right now, is very, very happy with what is going on with regards to Wike, Atiku, and the whole issue. Even Wike had to say this with regards to the campaign in his state.
Oh, why is it that they don't see the presidential candidate's picture, the party chairman? Also, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? The presidential candidate entered my state and picked members of the presidential council without the whole governor of the state having a contribution. The presidential candidate entered Rivers State, picked those he wants to pick without the contribution of the governor. So they said they don't need me to campaign for them. That they don't want Rivers people to campaign for them. Will you force yourself? Will you force yourself?
For Wike himself to be ignored in this particular situation right now, come on, how would the campaign and all that go on in his state? That means in Rivers State alone, there's going to be some political rivalry within the same party with Wike as the sitting governor. This is quite interesting. So one thing I see right here is that, you see, when you look at politics from a distance and you look at it critically, you get to understand that there might be some motivation behind some things. All right? But in the end as well, what you have to understand right here is that everyone is trying as much as possible to make sure that they are winning the hearts of people. Tinubu is strategic for him to put in that amount of money, if I'm seeing it as a campaign strategy, into Kano right there, 100 million. That is a lot of money, for a fact. But if you ask him, where did he get his money from? Did he get any contract? No. Did the government give him anything? No. It is his money and all that.